Yeah! Didn't think you'd hear that song today, but we're here, everybody. Why not hop in here, talk to the peeps once again, and get you ready for at least the big fights of this Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua card. The prelims are going on as we speak. So, yeah, you can watch them over at MMAfighting.com. Everything's right there. Just head to the website. You can watch the video right on the old site. And then 8 p.m. Eastern time, everything transitions over to Netflix. And Jed and I will go live with all of you. And we'll watch all the fights together. The Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua live watch party going down 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll watch the last 4 fights together, which include the big one, the main event between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. And also one that, I don't know, I guess taste may vary. I'm looking forward to Anderson Silva versus Tyron Woodley. I know it's Anderson's 50 and Tyron Woodley hasn't gotten a win in a long-ass time. But, you know, nice and nostalgic. Can't hate nostalgia, especially less than a week before Christmas time. So, yeah, let's have some fun. We could talk obviously about the card. We could talk about Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. We could talk about Anderson Silva versus Tyron Woodley. We could talk about anything else going on, too. We could talk about MMA. We could talk about the UFC. So, yeah, let's go. Rob the Schwab, did you see the news about Karate Combat? Yeah, I read an article from Timothy Wheaton. I believe that's his name. I believe it was on Low Kick MMA and kind of broke down everything that was going on. And he did a great job, so shout out to him. But yeah, I don't think anything's really surprising at this point. They're in some trouble. And yeah, hopefully everyone that needs to get paid gets paid. I think there's some reporting coming out from, let me pull this up real quick. We haven't confirmed this, but I'll throw it out there. Alex Bunin from MMA Mania tweeted out not that long ago, less than an hour ago, said, I'm also hearing from multiple sources that Karate Combat is likely to have its promotion license suspended for a year after the debacle of KC58. So, not a good time to be Karate Combat right now. And it's such a bummer because they were doing so well. The cards were fun. They're getting some big names. They're doing some fun things, and everything just kind of went to shit pretty quickly, allegedly. So, I mean, look, there are fighters who have gone public about this, saying they haven't been paid. There are executives and folks who worked for them doing some social media that says they haven't been paid yet. So, tough scenes. Hopefully it gets squared away. And yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. Stacks put 10 on Paul for the hell of it. Rooting for you. But yeah, I did not. I have 2 bets on the fight. One is on the opposite side of the spectrum. I put a nice, at least for what I usually bet, nice little chunk on Anthony Joshua. And then I had a fun little, let's sprinkle it in because I do think, I don't know. Joshua is probably just going to go kill him. That's very possible. He's just going to go out there and clobber him quickly. But there is a part of me who feels like Anthony might carry him a little bit. We might get the Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor thing kind of all over again, where we have a guy who is clearly not ready for this type of step up, fighting a dude who should win this fight easily. Floyd carried Conor for most of that fight and then was like, all right, we're done here. We're going to get him out of here. Maybe Anthony carries him for a minute, but I put a nice little sprinkle down, plus 2,700 on Anthony Joshua to win in round 5 and Jake Paul to be knocked down in round 4. Just a fun one in case the fight goes a little long. But most of this, that's a sprinkle, like a small little sprinkle. Armenia, what's going on? Hope you're doing well also. I heard they were giving out talent tokens they had to cash. Yeah, that was in the article. Reese Cotton, Tapori needs to be stripped of the title. think we're a little early for that. What happened to Boss and President Awesome? I haven't seen Boss over there in a minute. President Awesome's still there. He's all over the social media. He was all over the broadcast in the last one. So it's a very specific sprinkle. It is, but look, Josh is probably going to clobber him in 2 rounds. But just in case the fight goes a little bit longer, we're here to have fun. There's very little on it. Pretty much all of the money is on Anthony to win. So, Reese, if he wins in the first round, great. That works out spectacularly for me. But if it goes long and Joshua drops him in round 4 and then finishes him in round 5, that's a fun bet to hit. And if it happens while we're live on the air, that'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, Todd, what's going on? 2 rounds. The Francis disrespect is crazy. How's Jake so much better than Francis? I don't know what's going to happen. It's such a weird fight. But remember, there were a lot of people who thought Francis might win that fight. And boy, anybody who thought that was dead wrong. So, but Jake has more boxing experience than Francis does. But I'm not again. I think if Anthony touches him at any point in this fight, hits him clean on the chin, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. I will say for content purposes and just because Jed and I in particular like things that are hilarious, Jake winning would be one of the funniest things that's ever happened. It's not going to happen, but if by some chance it does, it would be the funniest thing that has ever happened. No doubt about it. Dave, Jake Paul's gonna shock the world. Trust me, in our realm, that would be the funniest thing that has ever happened. Maybe in combat sports, people would hate it, but it would just be objectively hilarious. How is Jake supposed to box Tank Davis tonight? Is boxing real? So actually, he was supposed to fight Tank last month, right before UFC 322, the day before. I was supposed to go cover that event if it happened that week. But yeah, it was just going to be an exhibition fight. They were just going to dance around. It would have been silly. Tank probably would just box him up a bit. No one got hurt. And that would have been it. So that's that. But yeah, it just would have been silly. And I think the Joshua substitution is obviously better because this fight is bigger than that one. And on top of that, I think Jake and his team understood this is a dumb idea, not just because they wanted to work with Tank Davis, who is unreliable and gets into trouble a whole bunch. And this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect because as Jed has been saying for a while, and I 100% agree, anybody who has been on this whole journey of Jake Paul and boxing and beating all the MMA dudes, we have been waiting for this moment to come where Jake is got to get his quote unquote comeuppance, where he's just gonna get nuked in the middle of that ring. And tonight could be that night. And again, for the Jake Paul brand, he loses and he might have a couple of brain cells knocked loose, but no one's expecting him to win this fight. So when he says, I'm playing with house money here, he absolutely is playing with house money. This is a no pressure situation for him. And if somehow he makes it longer than Francis, he will brag about that until the day he dies. What if a DQ happens, like Joshua hitting Jake below the belt? All right, that would not be fun. Maybe kind of funny, but no. But you know what would happen. Jake would just go to the press conference and just be like, I made him quit. 8 3-minute rounds. Yes. Scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds. If AJ knocked out Ngannou, why doesn't he knock out Jake? Because this is a bigger fight than Ngannou. There was a question that was asked at the press conference that I thought was a little silly, But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, kind of makes sense. Anthony Joshua was asked, like, this is the most amount of eyeballs for a fight. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? Like, this isn't even going to do. This probably won't do as well as, well, I don't know. I'm curious if this does as well as Crawford Canelo. It's certainly not going to do as well as the Mike Tyson fight did. But this is definitely going to be the most watched fight Anthony Joshua has ever competed in by a lot. By a large, large, large margin. So there is some truth to that. This is the biggest audience Anthony Joshua has ever fought in front of. Probably by 50 million. I don't know if it would be that much, but definitely tens of millions of people more than have ever watched him fight anybody. So. Jake already lost to Tommy Fury and nobody cared. Yeah, they did. They definitely cared that night. It was also, that card was like on a random Sunday afternoon. It was just kind of flew under the radar, but people still give Jake crap about that. When people talk about like how Jake has progressed as a boxer and like how good he is compared to others, that's the line people go to is like, well, he lost to Tommy Fury, who's not good at all. And obviously he's bounced back. I mean, obviously he hasn't fought the highest of level competition. We're talking about Nate Diaz and, at least for boxing, Anderson Silva and Cesar Chavez Jr., the Andre Augusts of the world. So, yeah, no one's going to care if he gets... People are going to give Jake shit for getting knocked out because they just want to see him get knocked out, but... Oh, this is a great comment. This feels like early 2000s Pride K1 era matchmaking. Spot on. But with a little more emotion and a little more attachment because people just want to see... People just want to see Jake get knocked out. And I think they're going to get their wish tonight. People say that Jake has a puncher's chance, have no idea about fighting. Every punch that Jake will throw has been thrown at AJ by actual heavyweights. AJ will see everything coming. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. Jake is like a legit boxer. And all the advantages Jake has had over all of his other opponents, Joshua's going to have in this fight by a trillion miles. But, hey. Respect to him. You gotta tip the cap to the man for going in there and just getting dusted, because that's what's going to happen. If this is real and AJ dusts Jake from Lopsided, is it possible that the Netflix execs had him take one for the team or close the door on future business given the losses they would suffer if this event fell out? No. I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, because Jake was saying that they were close to getting Terrence Crawford. And I actually believe that. I'm truly stunned that Francis Ngannou didn't take this fight. Like, truly stunned. The fact that he did not jump all over this is unreal to me. It's unbelievable. Lots of seats covered in the stadium. Is that normal? You know what? Let's take while we're here, let's take a look at, I don't want to do that. Let's see what the ticket sales look like right now. Let's see how things look. Boy, yeah, there's a shit ton of tickets left. No, it's not a shit ton. There's maybe 1,000. But yeah, they might have closed off some sections. I mean, it's not a bad idea. Again, like, think of the timing too. It's Christmas, all that stuff. It's a weird fight. And I've covered Jake Paul fights. Like, I covered the Nate Diaz fight. I covered the second Tyron Woodley fight. I was in the building for both of those. And I remember the ticket sales being pretty shitty pretty much the entire week heading into the fight. And then by the time fight night came around, it was sold out. Completely sold out. I don't know if this one will be a sellout. But yeah. Bet the house on the Disney kid. All right. Is there a world where AJ just looks old? Yeah, I think he looks older. Like Jake wouldn't take this fight 3 years ago because he would absolutely get his face shattered. But he's getting an Anthony Joshua who's still going to beat him, but also he's not throwing 99 from the dish anymore. He's throwing like upper 80s, low 90s, and he's hitting the corners. He's still effective, and he's still way bigger and way more powerful, way more experience, and just a way better boxer than Jake. So, yeah. Will Joshua look older compared to where he was 3 years ago? Absolutely. He is getting older anyways. Joshua has the most power Jake has ever faced. 100%. This will be the guy with the most power Jake will ever face in his entire career. I think Jake feels his power and takes a dive. I don't know if it's like take a dive, but honestly, I don't think he's going to need to. I don't think he's going to need to take a dive. I think Anthony will help him hit the canvas just fine. The whole top tier is covered. I haven't checked it out yet. Seems like Netflix would have a problem with ticket sales happening. I don't think Netflix really cares about the ticket sales. I think they care about how many people are going to watch it. Like, if this comes back and they do 7 million people, yeah, they're going to be pissed. I know it seems like a huge number, but Tyson Paul did like 100 million. The Amanda Serrato fight did really well. Crawford Canelo, what did they do? What did they do? They did 41 million global viewers, average of 36.6 million people live for Canelo Crawford. So I think if they can get somewhere near there, I think Netflix will be pretty happy. $37 isn't that old. Yeah, for you or me who haven't been punched in the face by massive heavyweights for the last decade or so. I mean, I love the confidence in Jake here. When Jake wins, does he fight for a title next? Probably. Jake is kind of always in this discussion now because, like, if you're the WBC, like, why would you not want to chuck him into, like, a cruiserweight title fight at some point? Like, it's just for viewership and the attention that the sanctioning body would get. But he'd obviously have to work for that so. Let's guess Jake Paul's next opponent, Rebellis of Spain. Who would he fight next? I don't know. You probably have to go back to the circus a bit. You know? KSI. Maybe we do maybe do the Tommy Fury rematch. I don't know. I don't think Jake's going to fight that much more, honestly, because, like, why would he? Unless he gets, like, the Canelo fight or something, which, you know, if I'm Canelo, I'm jumping all over that. Michael, I just want Jake to win for the crazy media I'll get to watch till UFC is back. Trust me when I tell you, there is a part of me from, like, that perspective that would enjoy that. That ceremonial weigh-in was cringe as F. What about it? Because they're all like that. Stacks is fired up. Jake can't take AJ's power. I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's gonna get knocked out tonight. There's no. It's just a matter of when. If Jake wins, does Francis look worse for not taking it or better? I mean, better, obviously. Probably better. I mean, I think he looks like an idiot for not taking it anyways. I don't get it. I truly don't understand why he didn't take it. He would have got a bag, and he would have probably beat Jake. Probably would have knocked him out. He would have been a friggin' hero. The decision making there, I don't get it. I do not get it. Edwin, do you think Jake will last more than 3 rounds? No, I don't. But if it does, I have a bet that's really fun. So Tommy can't leave the UK, so that's not happening. Well, I mean, they can go somewhere where he can get to. Why is nobody talking about the biggest fight of the weekend, Tony Ferguson winning undisputed? Tony Ferguson's boxing. He should win. And that's that. I mean, what else could you say? Those Misfits events, I don't know. Don't care. I'm so glad I'm not covering that event tomorrow. Got a family party, so meeting up with the fam up here in Massachusetts for a drive back South Carolina on Sunday. But yeah, I'm very excited that I don't have to watch that. If Jake wins, I quit combat sports. I don't believe you. We are live 503. Zuffa Boxing should just give Jake the cruiserweight belt to start the division off with a bang. That would be funny. It's kind of mental that Floyd gave Logan the exhibition. I think he got them confused. I mean, Logan was a safer pick at the time. You know, Logan's like a great athlete. He's doing great in WWE, but Jake's a far better boxer than Logan ever was. A lot of people picking Jake here. Up until now, Jake has been very smart choosing his opponents. Yeah, but again, Jake is a businessman, and the best business right now for him is to lose. And not just lose, but to get wrecked. Like, this is the payoff. This is it. We were wondering when this time would come, when he gets in there with somebody who's going to knock him out and put him face first in the canvas. And now it's here. So, and they can just build back up, have if he's got to keep fighting, do 4 or 5 more fights against dudes you'll beat, and then do it again. Jake's the kind of guy that gives you emotion. You like him or you hate him. And those who like him think he can go out there and beat Anthony Joshua tonight. And those who hate him will probably be paid off for all the times they said, I'm never watching a Jake Paul fight again. And then they keep watching them, waiting for something to happen. Hoping Anderson Silva would knock him out. Hoping Tyron Woodley would knock him out. Tonight, you're going to get your wish, I think. Jake Paul versus Tony Ferguson would be wild. I mean, that's about right. Jake fighting a dude that's like 30 pounds less than him. And I love Tony. I'll say this as nice as I can. He's on the back 9, probably on the 17th hole. But yeah, Tony boxing the Warren Spencers of the world. Perfect. That's what I want to see for Tony. Jake would clobber Tony in a boxing match. And I don't want to see that. When Jake wins, you'll see Francis didn't take it for not wanting to take a fall. I don't know. I really hope that Francis doesn't come out and talk shit after Joshua knocks him out, because that would just be bad. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Yes, Chase Demore fighting Andrew Tate tomorrow. Thoughts on Francis saying he's watching this fight closely. If I was Jake, I wouldn't even entertain him anymore. 100%. 100%. If I'm Jake, that ship has sailed. I ain't fighting Francis. Who are the 2 opening fights? Will they be good? Jamal Harvey Kevin Cervantes is the first fight. That actually will be pretty fun. Harvey's an Olympian, like pretty legit prospect, and Kevin's looked pretty good in his pro fights. And then the second fight is Anderson Silva versus Tyron Woodley. So I'll be into that. And then the co-main is the Alicia Baumgartner fight, and she'll probably go out and win a decision. So, and retain her belts. Figado says yes, he will fight him as he doesn't have many options. I don't think that's true at all. I think Jake could pretty much fight anybody he wants, really. And like this whole thing of Francis is just, I don't know. People know who Francis is, but he's not like a big star. Like he was at the peak of his powers after the Tyson Fury fight. When he got the knockdown, even though he lost, everyone thought he won. I didn't think he won, but the belief in everybody was, hey, he got the knockdown, pride rules, Francis won, and a lot of people scored that fight for Francis. He was at the top, he was on top of the world. And then he fought Joshua and just got obliterated. Like, just obliterated. And then people are like, all right, well, now he can go back and do the thing we watch him for. And he's only had one MMA fight since the Cyril Gane fight. Since his last fight in the UFC. It's been a tough run for Francis. I want Jake versus Steven Aspin at some point. Absolute cinema. Did you see the rumor UFC told Chris Weidman not to box on the Jake Paul card? No, I did not see that. Chris was going to fight Anderson Silva in November. That was a done deal. And Chris is hurt. Like, he's legitimately injured. That's why he's not fighting Anderson Silva tonight. Like, he's legitimately injured. I think it's a torn bicep. Some kind of arm injury that's, like, really bad. To the point where he couldn't fight through it. He wanted to try to fight through it, but he couldn't. So, I did not hear that rumor. I don't think the UFC would hold him back because Chris Weidman went and signed with friggin' GFL. So, UFC obviously gave him permission to go kind of do whatever he wants. So, if he signed with a rival MMA promotion that had signed everybody, and, you know, they obviously didn't have any events, but if they allowed him to go sign with them and them saying, we signed Chris Weidman, you don't think that, like, you think they'd be mad if he went and boxed Anderson Silva on a Jake Paul card? No. It's good business for the UFC because how many times are they going to say UFC on this broadcast tonight? 1 billion? That entire fight, they're going to say UFC. UFC's name has been said all week. Like, this is just free promotion for them. When they hit the music tonight, Paul Jake is going to come out and Jake Paul will stay in the locker room. Big mix-up. I love that. Average Joe R, what's up? First time watching Jake Paul fight, so if he wins, we all agree. Got to be careful with that stuff. A lot of people are tired of hearing Francis's name, honestly. Where are we? Lazy bed, there you go. Instead of quitting and being called a quitter forever, could this be Jake's way of retiring? He doesn't need more money. Why risk a catastrophic injury? Maybe. I mean, he was kind of like talking about retirement and saying he was getting old. But, you know, I still think there's some things he could do. So. Mike, is this fight getting the site Connor level traffic? I think it's going to do gangbusters on the website, honestly. It's going to do huge. I think Misfits Boxing will do probably better because I think a lot of people are going to watch this fight tonight, and I don't think a lot of people are actually going to watch the Misfits card, but they want to know what's happening. So they'll follow along on the site. to know what's happening. But yeah, I don't think people are going to go pay for that event. I mean, some will, but not everybody. Like a small, it'll do pretty awful numbers, honestly. Like if that was on DAZN and we were tracking actual pay-per-views, that is going to not do good. We covered Karate Combat earlier. The ring is huge. Yes, it is a 22 by 22 ring. Anderson Silva's 50 years old, just got a $10 million payout. He is addicted to competition. Dude loves to fight, man. Just loves fighting. Mike, thoughts on the public already having convinced themselves if Jake wins, it must be rigged. That annoys me. You? I mean, no one's going to, like, you're not, they're not that stupid. Like, you have to be an absolute moron to rig a fight. Like, you have to be the dumbest person in the world to rig a boxing match in 2025. Like, an absolute idiot. And those guys, say what you will about Jake and Nikisa and all them, not a lot of people like them. Nikisa's always been very nice to me. I've never had any issues with them, but I know a lot of people aren't like huge fans of them. They're not rigging it. They're not rigging this fight. He says he's going to make Joshua chase him tired, a strategy. Not a bad one. I could see Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor happen one day. Well, Conor's got 2 UFC fights left before he's fighting anybody outside of the UFC at this point. So, Conor wants to fight Jake Paul. He needs to have 2 UFC fights. And something tells me that once Conor has his next fight, it could be a real long time before he has the second one. And I don't think it's going to be Conor's decision. I think it's going to be the UFC doing what they did with every other big name that's in this situation. Just ask Nate Diaz how it goes when you have 1 fight left in your deal and you don't want to sign an extension. Finally, Nate was like, F it, I'll fight Khamzat Chimaev. Cool, it'll get me out of the contract. And then the MMA gods smiled upon us. Did you watch the Ariel H show yesterday in Miami? Thought it was a good show, but they said Jorge got the call before Tyron Woodley. He did? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know if the UFC would have let him fight. I don't know. I saw some clips of it. Shout out to those guys. That's super cool. They're like living the dream. I was a little jealous watching it. I'm like, damn, like I would love to do something like that. That's where I shine, is like with a live microphone in my hand on a stage doing that stuff. Like that's what I'm at my absolute best. Like emceeing stuff, hosting stuff, like that's my jam. Of course I love talking to all you guys, but you put a crowd in front of me, whole different ballgame. But shout out to those guys. Really, really cool stuff. Ariel's obviously done a great job all week. Does a great job all the time. Good man. Good dude. And obviously GC is my boy, my OG watch party partner. And New York Rick's the man too. And shout out to New York Rick for giving me a little shout out on Boys in the Back last week for my Diego Lopez take. And looks like Diego listened to my take, even though I got shit on for it. But it was a smart move by Diego Lopez. How many rounds does Jake need to last before he can spin this into a win? My gut tells me if he lasts 4 rounds, it's a win for the JP brand. I think he wins no matter what. Him just stepping into the ring tonight is a win. I think if he goes past 2 rounds, it's a gigantic win. If he makes it to 4 rounds, like that's a monumental win. Negative, they have been rigging them and getting away with it. No, they haven't. They haven't. You can't, you can try to rig a fight, but it ain't going to go well. Jake Paul will be in prison for the next, 30 years if he tried to rig a fight. People don't understand how difficult and how stupid it is to even think about that. What time's the main event ring walk? Ooh, good question. Let me look that up for you. I would guess I might guess like 11. Ring walks. (10:30, 11). Be around there. Krause wasn't punished for rigging the Minner fight. Got a slap on the wrist. Bulgarian won't be punished either. They didn't rig anything. There was no rigging. They just knew the outcome. You know? It was more like insider trading than rigging a fight. They just let a dude who was completely... And this is... Again, we don't know all of the facts here. This is what they were allegedly punished for. Derek Minner obviously had a bad injury. People knew about it and used that to their financial gain. That's not rigging a fight. Fighter still made the choice to go in there and compete to the best of his ability. He was just banged up and should not have been in there. And people around him knew that, allegedly. That's not rigging a fight. That's just insider trading kind of stuff. Hamzat versus Nate was the worst thing the UFC has ever tried to do. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but it all worked out in the end. Is Triple H in the hot seat as WWE head of creative? No, I don't think so. They have... You're seeing the TKO... You're seeing the TKO isms in WWE right now. Triple H wants to be Dana White so badly, where he wants to be like the face of the company and all that stuff. And guess what? The biggest thing anybody cares about is, again, the UFC, obviously this year, they're going to do some bigger things because they're on a new network and they want to make a big splash to start. But once 2027 rolls around, you know what we're getting. We're getting the exact same stuff we got this year and last year with like bad Apex cards, mid-level pay-per-views with the occasional sprinkle of great. And that's what WWE is right now. They were red hot for, excuse me, for so long. And now, like, at the end of the day, people are still going to spend money and buy these tickets and sell at arenas. Like, they don't have to do shit. They don't have to try as hard. Do you do weddings? I did do weddings for almost 20 years. Since I was like a senior in high school, I did weddings. Haven't done them in a while. I'm actually, funny story, I had somebody, a fan of the website actually, reach out and said, hey, I heard you did weddings. I'm getting married on the Cape in September. Do you want to MC the wedding? I was like, okay. So I'm actually going to MC an MMA Fighting viewer's wedding in September. Since I'll probably be up, yeah, I can come up here whenever I want now, so. Thank you, Lazy Bed. I agree. Yeah, I'm done with the rig talk because it's just ridiculous. I see Colby's wrestling Luke at RAF. Yes, in January. I might go to that. I might go cover that event. Eddie's put pressure on AJ to go straight for the kill in all his interviews. Yep. Props to Eddie Hearn for getting Joshua the easiest bag of his life. Yep. Eddie Hearn's the man. He's great. No, I don't think that's true. With the certain combinations. You go from fighting Tank Davis to Anthony Joshua. How real can that be? Dude, he's gonna get folded tonight. He's gonna go out and get wrecked. And he's gonna make a bag And all of his fans will, and all the people, the Jake Paul haters out there, will be pumped. This is good business on his part. This is the, going back to the pro wrestling, this is the payoff. This is the payoff. That's what's happening. And then Jake's going to go out there. He's going to beat a bunch of dudes that nobody cares about, or guys with names that he should beat because he's way bigger and younger and more athletic than. And then you know what he should do like 4 or 5 fights later if he keeps doing this? He should go box somebody else who will kill him, who will knock him out like this. Thank you, Chef Nerdbon. If JP makes it round 3, he's throwing in Francis' face. 100%. If he gets 1 millisecond past Francis, absolutely that will be what he will do the rest of his life. Do you have a DJ name? No. Just Mike Heck. DJ Heck. The fact that fighters on this card are bigger favorites than Joshua is insane. I'm going to get a 10% return on my money for a guaranteed thing. Yeah, I have a nice healthy bet on Anthony Joshua. Nice healthy bet. Ladies getting after it. All right, we're going to get out of here in a minute so we can let you guys enjoy the festivities. Now I got to get ready for the watch party. Oh, Joe, come on, Mr. Clean. How dare you? Are you comparing Jake Paul to Daniel Dubois? Come on, Burko. Come on. Come on. That's insane. Watch party starts and the main card starts. Yes, 8 p.m. Eastern. So, Mike, you're saying you would take the profit boost at plus 150 for AJ to win in rounds 1 or 2? I mean, if you want to have fun, sure. It's not a bad price, especially if you think... Like, if you think that Paul is just going to fold with the first punch that he's hit with, sure. I just went full on Anthony. I got him at minus 900. I think that is like... it's ridiculous that is the case. And if the fight somehow goes longer, I'm prepared for that too. This is a silly bet. That's why I didn't put a lot on it, but it's plus 2,700. Anthony Joshua to win the fight in round 5, and Jake Paul gets knocked down in round 4. It's very specific, but if that hits, like that's just fun. Like, let's just have some fun with it. Jake will be destroyed. Virgo, you're killing me. You're killing me. I know what you're trying to do. All right. Okay, we're getting out of here. Thank you all very much. You guys are the best. And more to come. Like I said, 8 p.m. Eastern. I got to figure out where I'm doing this because I'm in Massachusetts. So I got to figure out like a spot. It's not going to be here. I'm not going to be like, I'm just standing up with my computer on a treadmill desk. So I'm not going to do that here. I got some like big old school chairs that we got for free from some folks around here. So I'm going to set one of those up somewhere and then we'll do the watch party. So it's going to be a good time. Yeah. If you want to watch the prelims, you can go to MMAfighting.com. It's probably pinned right to the top. Just click on the link. You'll see the video. Just go ahead and watch prelims. And then, yeah, all the festivities go down at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's got to be weird and it's got to be wacky. It's going to be silly. But we're here for it. Why not? Let's just enjoy it for what it is. And we'll react, watch all together, live, right on this here channel. And I think we're going to have a great time, everybody. It's the holiday season. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. We're actually saying that into a live microphone. And it's on Netflix. We don't have to pay like $85 to watch this. It's terrific. Just terrific stuff. So Jed and I will see you at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Jed and I will have a different stream afterwards. We'll react to all the festivities, do a quick post-fight show. So that's it, everybody. We'll see you 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the MMA Fighting Twitch channel. If you haven't subscribed, head on over if you're a Twitchter. I am Mike Heck. Let's go. Let's have some fun. We're out of here.